Hello everyone, today I'm going to play the Smallpox official scenario. This scenario is really hard because the conditions to get 3 biohazards in this scenario are luck based. If you play the frozen virus and Nipah virus, the smallpox virus is very similar to those viruses. However, unlike Nipah and frozen virus, the conditions to get 3 biohazards in this scenario is different. The condition to get 3 biohazards in this scenario is that we should have a small cure progress around 50% below, I think. Once all islands that don't share land border with other countries are infected, like Greenland, Iceland, etc. We should do this around 200 days or lower. The lower the better, and also no genetic reshuffle has been used. Sounds simple, right? The challenge here is the starting stats of smallpox. Smallpox is moderately severe and lethal initially. This makes smallpox easy to detect, making countries scramble and create vaccine fast. Cure progress in this scenario is really fast. That's why we need to finish this scenario around 300 days or lower. We need to do this to compensate for high cure progress because, to be honest, we can't do anything to lower the cure progress to 50% when the number of days is around 290 days. In this scenario, expect cure progress to be around 90% when number of days is around 290. Another gimmick of this scenario is the vaccine shield ability. Vaccine shield helps our virus to be infectious again to specific countries that use a vaccine. Take note that the vaccine that I'm talking about here is not the vaccine when cure progress is 100%. In this scenario, some countries can create a specific vaccine that acts like a vaccine when cure progress is 100%. However, this specific vaccine only works to countries that use it. Also, these specific vaccines are weaker version of the vaccine when cure progress is 100%. It means that these vaccines are not very effective once number of infected people in a country is far too many. At first, our starting country will feel this specific vaccine. You will see the effect once the infected people in your starting country are being reduced, but the number of deaths are not increasing. To counter this, we need to get the vaccine shield ability. Once we get this ability, 3 sub-abilities will appear, and we need to get some or all of these 3 abilities based on what is being used by countries later. These abilities are expensive and getting all of them is not feasible. I'll give more information about this specific vaccine once we're in the game. I'm going to use the save load state in this scenario because I want to reduce the number of repetition that I may need to get 3 biohazards. However, this strategy is very likely to work without using save load state as long as you meet the condition that I've said earlier. I'm going to use 2 save state in this run. Alright, for the first save state, save the game if Iceland, Russia, Madagascar, and New Zealand are infected very early. This first save state is optional, but this state can give us great advantage in this run. You must prioritize infecting Iceland and Greenland in this scenario because Europe tends to be overwhelmed at later time, thus giving those countries time to close their ship ports and close an airport in Iceland. Russia is a country that can send a ship to Greenland, that's why you should prioritize fully infecting Russia. Madagascar and New Zealand are just bonus islands. Getting these islands very early can reduce the pressure of infecting islands in the later phase. You may ask, how do we infect those 4 countries very early? Well, just start in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia can send planes to Russia, Iceland, and New Zealand. Also, Saudi Arabia can send ship to Madagascar. For the second save state, save the game if the cure progress is around 50%, number of days is around 200, all islands are infected, and no genetic reshuffle is used. Islands in this context are countries that don't share land border with other countries. This second state is important because this state is the key to win the scenario and get 3 biohazards. To get cure progress around 50% in around 200 days in this scenario, The has been put out watch list pop-up should appear late. It's ideal for that pop-up to appear if your progress is 12% or higher, or else watch your cure progress skyrocket to 75% in just 100 days. Pop-up to be avoided. Awareness Day. This pop-up must be avoided in this scenario. Cure progress in this scenario is really fast. Adding more speed to cure progress will make this scenario extremely hard, and losing the run is extremely likely. Before playing, you should have these genes. ATP boost, genetic mimic. We need this because cure progress is really fast and we need to slow it down. Aquasite. We need this to increase the chance of infecting countries that don't share land border with other countries and only have shipports. Serophile. We need this to increase infectivity in our starting country, which is Saudi Arabia. Transstasis. We need this to get transmission that we need as early as possible. Now let's play the scenario. Let's start in Saudi Arabia. Really good starting country. Get droplets 2 and 3, good infectivity and more infected planes. Carefully watch the number of infected people in your starting country. Get vaccine shield if you see that the number of infected people are going down. Time for me to get vaccine shield. Number of infected people went down. Take note that the reduction could be from deaths. For me, just get vaccine shield if infected people goes down, even if the source of reduction is death. Get air 1. Got Madagascar very early, that's nice. Get air 2. Got New Zealand and one country from North and South America. This is great. Get water 2 and fomites 2. Now extreme bioaerosol is open. Get Iceland. This is really great for me. It's really important to get this island very early. I'm gonna save the game here and hope to get Russia later since airport in Saudi Arabia is still open. Gonna continue this run. Get insect 1. Get livestock 2. Got Russia. Iceland and Russia are infected. This is great. Get cold resistance 1 for cold countries, especially European countries. Get drug resistance 1. Get drug resistance 2. Cold countries are now vulnerable. Get drug resistance 2. Rich countries are not safe from a virus anymore. Also get genetic hardening 1 to slow down cure progress. Corneal ulceration got mutated, not very ideal. Get hypersensitivity for rich country. Get genetic hardening 2 to further slow down cure progress. Now I'm waiting for Russia to send a boat to Greenland. Sweden and Norway can also send a ship to Greenland, but I think it's very unlikely because there are few infected people in these countries right now. Looks like no boat will come to Greenland. Also, your progress is high already. This run is doomed. Going to load the previous state. Let's try again and hope to get Greenland and lower pure progress. Get livestock 1 and 2 for Russia. Get extreme bioaerosol later. Alright, got Russia. Get cold resistance 1. Get cold resistance 2. Get drug resistance 1. Get drug resistance 2 and genetic hardening 1. Get genetic hardening 2. Get insect 1 and blood 1. Alright, Coma has been mutated for free. This is great, although I think it's too early. Greenland has been infected. This is great news. All islands are infected and your progress is 24% before watch disappear. I think this is still a good run because that watch list pop-up appeared late because my cure progress is already at 24% and all islands are infected. Open the news tab and look for any red message box regarding specific vaccine. Look for the release of EJ7, EJ2, and EJ13 vaccine. If you see a country that uses one of these vaccines, check that country and see if its infection is slowing down or worse, infected people are recovering. If so, get that specific vaccine that the country uses in the ability tab. Get necrosis, coma, and necrosis are really important to have. You should prioritize getting them both. Philippines is still not infected. Damn, I thought all islands are infected. Well, gonna wait until Philippines is infected, then save the game I guess. Alright, Philippines got infected just now. Sweden and Morocco are the only uninfected countries left. It's alright, those countries share a land border with other countries. Gonna save the game because I think I've accomplished the main condition that I need to get 3 biohazards and beat the scenario. Gonna continue this run and hope to get all things right in the next phase. The next and last phase is fairly easy. We just need to kill people fast and stabilize the infectivity lethality ratio so that all people become infected, leaving no one behind. Get dysentery, it has good amount of infectivity and lethality. Get corneal ulceration to slow cure progress. Get blackpox, this opens up more symptoms that leads us to total organ failure and hemorrhagic shock. Get internal hemorrhaging, total organ failure, and hemorrhagic shock are now open. Sweden is still not infected, seriously? Looking at the news tab, and it looks like Japan releases EJ7 vaccine. Mexico and Iceland released EJ2. This is not good. 2 specific vaccines are created. Let's get EJ7 vaccine first. Brazil also uses EJ7 just like Japan. I need to get EJ2 later. Damn, Sweden is still healthy, what the hell. At last, Sweden got infected. It took me a lot of time though, not good. 120 plus days, still good I guess. Get diarrhea for infectivity, especially for countries. Wait for doctor progress to reach 95% before using genetic reshuffle. Remember that genetic drift loses its effect once lots of people are dead, making upgrades return to their original cost. Infection rate in Sweden is really slow. Get vomiting for more infectivity I guess. Get genetic reshuffle 1, slow down cure progress. What the hell? There are 2 healthy countries? This is a lost cause. Going to load the previous state. Let's try again and hope to win this time. This time I'm gonna slowly increase my lethality. I'm gonna focus on infecting every people on Earth before ramping up lethality. Get vomiting and diarrhea for infectivity. Get corneal ulceration to slow down cure progress. Get blackpox to unlock total organ failure and hemorrhagic shock. Waiting for Sweden to be infected. Get immune suppression for increased mutation chance. Sweden got infected just now. This is much faster than the previous run. Look at the news tab to see which countries are using specific vaccines. Pakistan is using EJ2 vaccine. Pakistan is already decimated. No need to worry about that EJ2 vaccine in that country. Sweden is still resisting. Look at the news tab again. Italy is using EJ2. Italy has already succumbed to the plague. That vaccine is now less effective in Italy. Finland is using EJ2 vaccine. Finland is already dead too. That vaccine is now less effective in Finland. That's all the countries that use this specific vaccine. I think I don't need to get EJ2 because all countries that use that vaccine are already decimated. Get genetic reshuffle 1 to reduce cure progress. Sweden is falling. I think it's time to ramp up lethality. Let's see if Balkan states is using a vaccine. Infection rate there is kinda concerning. I'm not seeing Balkan state in the news tab. That's great news. Alright, all people in the world are infected. Time to ramp up lethality in full swing. Get total organ failure and hemorrhagic shock. If you didn't mutate, coma for free in your run, buy it first and only get one of the two symptoms. I think that's enough to kill people around 300 days or lower. Don't forget to save some points for genetic reshuffle. Looks like I don't have enough points for genetic reshuffle too, that's alright. Your progress is becoming stagnant. Can't find abilities to devolve with bonus DNA points. Oh well, hope to get high score based on number of days. Get acute encephalitis or for mortality, don't have a choice. Didn't expect this yellow bubble. I might have enough points to buy genetic reshuffle too. And I got 3 biohazards even though your progress is high. Low number of days is enough to get 3 biohazards, that's all.